There is a peculiar yet deeply significant occurrence that has intrigued philosophers, psychologists, and even neuroscientists for ages. Two individuals thinking of each other at the exact same moment. At first, it appears unlikely, almost mystical. But in truth, human beings are far more interconnected than they tend to acknowledge. Our thoughts are not merely random. They are shaped by experiences, emotions, and ingrained patterns. When two people share a strong emotional or intellectual bond, they often exhibit signs that go beyond simple logic. There are instances when an inexplicable urge prompts you to get in touch with someone. It strikes suddenly, without any warning, in the midst of a routine activity or even during a quiet moment of introspection. You are not consciously focusing on them, yet their presence forcefully enters your mind as though they are silently calling out to you. You hesitate, wondering whether it is just a coincidence, but deep down, something tells you otherwise. Then, just as you decide to pick up your phone, a message from them arrives, or you realize they had attempted to reach you at that exact moment. It is an almost eerie alignment of thought and action, yet it occurs too frequently to dismiss as mere chance. This phenomenon is not accidental. It is rooted in the way human minds subconsciously connect through invisible patterns. Thoughts are not isolated events. They are influenced by emotional bonds, shared experiences, and neurological pathways formed over time. When two individuals share a deep relationship, their minds begin to synchronize in ways that go beyond direct communication. The impulse to reach out is not merely spontaneous. It is the result of an unspoken exchange occurring between two subconscious minds, responding to one another across distance and time. Psychology offers an explanation for this, particularly through the study of emotional resonance and mirror neurons. These neurons, which enable us to empathize and reflect the emotions of others, help create a mental bridge between individuals. When you think of someone intensely, your brain emits signals seeking recognition. And if the other person is equally in tune with you, they may unknowingly pick up on that energy. This is why two people often feel compelled to check on each other at the same time, even if they are miles apart. This connection does not occur with just anyone. It is most commonly observed in relationships with a strong emotional foundation, long-standing friendships, profound romantic ties, and even deep familial bonds. The brain remembers patterns of past interactions, and when two individuals have been emotionally in sync before, that alignment can continue even during periods of silence. The urge to reach out is a reflection of that connection, a reminder that neither mind has truly distanced itself from the other, despite physical separation. Dreams are not merely random sequences of thoughts. They are deeply linked to the subconscious, often reflecting emotions, unresolved thoughts, and persistent connections that go beyond waking reality. When two people share a powerful mental or emotional bond, they frequently find themselves appearing in each other's dreams, sometimes even on the same night, without any logical reason. It is as if their subconscious minds are communicating in a realm beyond physical existence, bringing them together in ways words cannot fully explain. This experience can be striking. You wake up with a vivid recollection of someone you have not spoken to in a long time, feeling as though they were right there with you. Sometimes the dream is symbolic, filled with emotions and abstract representations rather than direct encounters, yet the presence of that person is undeniable. Later, they might mention that they dreamed of you as well, or you may receive an unexpected message from them, reinforcing the idea that something deeper is at work. This is not mere coincidence. Neuroscientific research suggests that dreams are influenced by memory consolidation, emotional processing, and lingering thoughts. If someone is intensely focused on you, their energy and emotional concentration may trigger a subconscious response in your mind, leading you to dream of them without any conscious awareness. Similarly, if you are thinking persistently about someone their subconscious mind might detect that mental energy, causing them to dream of you in return. The subconscious does not operate under the rigid constraints of reason. It reacts to emotions, familiarity, and deeply embedded psychological patterns. Shared dreams frequently occur in relationships with emotional significance, even if active communication has ceased. This is because the brain retains emotional imprints from past interactions, and when those emotions are strong, they can manifest in dreams as a way of processing unresolved feelings or reaffirming the importance of that bond. It is not simply nostalgia or wishful thinking. It is the mind's way of preserving connections that remain meaningful or unfinished. If you unexpectedly dream of someone, consider the possibility that they too have been thinking about you. The subconscious is not confined by distance or time. It transcends rational limits, allowing bonds to endure in ways that science has yet to fully comprehend. There are times when an unfamiliar emotion washes over you, one that does not seem to originate from your own experiences. You could be going about your routine, absorbed in daily tasks, when suddenly an unexplained wave of sadness, longing, or even happiness takes over. It feels foreign, as if it does not belong entirely to you, yet it lingers, demanding your attention. You pause, attempting to trace its source, but nothing in your immediate surroundings accounts for the shift in mood. Then, seemingly by chance, you hear from someone you had been thinking about, or you discover they were experiencing intense emotions at that very moment. This phenomenon is more than mere happenstance. It is a reflection of the profound emotional link between individuals. The human mind is not an isolated entity. It is highly sensitive to external energies, particularly those linked to people with whom we share a deep connection. Emotion, at its core, is a form of energy. And when someone is thinking of you with strong intent, that energy can be subtly transmitted, triggering an emotional response within you. This explains why people in close relationships, such as twins, best friends, or romantic partners, often report sensing each other's emotions even when physically apart. Psychologists refer to this as emotional mirroring, a process where individuals unconsciously absorb the feelings of those they are closely connected to. This phenomenon is not restricted to physical proximity. Through memory and emotional conditioning, the brain remains attuned to those with whom it has shared meaningful experiences. If someone is missing you, experiencing sorrow or longing for you, and your connection remains strong, you may sense echoes of their emotions without direct interaction. What makes this even more remarkable is how often these emotional waves align with moments of deep thought or reflection. You may feel a sudden sadness, only to later discover that the person was reminiscing about you with regret. Conversely, you may experience a moment of unexpected warmth and peace, only to learn they were thinking of a joyful time you once shared. These emotional ripples suggest that thoughts are not solitary. They carry weight, and when the bond is strong enough, they can transcend conscious awareness, manifesting as emotions that feel unexplainable, yet strangely familiar. You are walking down the street, lost in your thoughts, when suddenly you hear their name. It might be mentioned in a passing conversation, a song lyric, or a book title you randomly glance at. The moment feels as though it has been orchestrated to pull your attention towards them. Then, as your day unfolds, more reminders appear. A song you both cherished plays unexpectedly. A location you once visited together appears in a film. Or you stumble upon an old message from them just as they enter your thoughts. It happens too often, too precisely to be dismissed as random coincidence. Moments are often overlooked as selective attention, the brain recognizing patterns simply because you are focused on them, but when they keep happening, when they occur even when they are far from your conscious mind, it hints at something deeper. The subconscious mind is always active, sorting through memories, associations, and emotions. When someone is thinking about you deeply, that mental energy can create a connection, pulling your awareness toward things linked to them. It is as if your mind is subtly tuned to their presence, searching for external confirmations of an internal bond. Beyond psychology, there is a phenomenon known as synchronicity, a concept introduced by Carl Jung. Synchronicity suggests that certain events, though seemingly unrelated, hold a deeper meaning when they align in a significant way. When you repeatedly come across signs of someone, hearing their name, seeing their initials, or being reminded of shared memories, it may indicate that they are not only in your thoughts, but also in theirs. These signs act as subconscious signals, reinforcing the idea that there is a continuous mental connection between you. Some may argue that this is simply the mind's way of processing emotions, but think about how often these signs show up right before or after the person contacts you, or how they seem to appear more frequently when emotions between you are intense. The mind does not work in isolation. It interacts with the outside world in ways we do not always completely understand. When you start noticing reminders of someone again and again, it may not just be nostalgia or coincidence. It could be a sign that their thoughts are drawing you toward them just as yours are drawn to them. You are alone in a room, focused on your work, or simply lost in thought, when suddenly you sense something unusual, an unexplainable feeling that someone is present. You look around, but there is no one physically there, yet the feeling stays, as though an invisible presence is nearby. It is not fear or paranoia. Instead, it is a quiet awareness, a subtle acknowledgement of something beyond the physical senses. And often, when this happens, the person you are thinking about either reaches out soon after or later mentions that they were thinking about you at that same moment. This experience is not as rare as it might seem. The human mind is highly sensitive to connections, especially with those we share deep emotional ties with. Our thoughts are not just internal. They carry emotional weight, and that weight can be felt even without direct communication. It is why people sometimes describe feeling as though a loved one is nearby even when they are far away. It is not about illusion or superstition, but about the way the mind processes emotional links that do not easily fade. Psychologically, this phenomenon can be understood as a type of emotional imprinting. When we spend a lot of time with someone, their presence becomes deeply embedded in our subconscious mind. Our brain records their voice, their gestures, their energy, and their effect on our emotions. Even when they are not physically around, these imprints can resurface suddenly, triggered by memory, emotion, or even an unspoken connection that still exists between you. This can also be related to the idea of energetic resonance. Some researchers in quantum theory and psychology suggest that thoughts and emotions create energetic frequencies that can be sensed by those attuned to them. If someone is thinking about you with strong emotion or longing for you, their emotional energy may be powerful enough for you to feel it even from a distance. Many people dismiss these moments as tricks of the mind, but if they keep happening, especially in connection to the same person, it is worth noticing. The sense of presence is not always imaginary. It is often the mind's way of signaling that the bond between you is still present in ways that logic may not fully explain, but are undeniably real. When you feel as though someone is with you, even when they are far away, it may be because, in some way, they truly are. You are sitting quietly, not particularly thinking about anything important, when suddenly a strange sensation comes over you. It might be an unexpected warmth, an unexplainable chill, or even a tingling feeling on your skin. It could be a shiver running down your spine, or a gentle pressure on your shoulder, almost as if someone had placed their hand there for a brief moment. It takes you by surprise. You cannot explain it logically, but it feels as though someone somewhere is reaching out to you, not physically, but through some unseen force. And more often than not, the person who immediately comes to mind is someone with whom you share a deep emotional connection? This type of experience is more common than people realize, yet it is often dismissed as nothing more than a random bodily reaction. But what if it is something more? The human body is highly responsive to emotions, not just our own, but also the emotions of those we are connected to. When someone thinks about you intensely, whether with love, longing, or even sadness, that emotional energy can take shape physically. Your body reacts before your mind fully understands what is happening. There is a strong link between thoughts, emotions, and physical reaction. Science has already shown that emotions are not just abstract concepts. They cause biochemical changes in the body. The way your heart rate speeds up when you are anxious, the way your stomach knots when you sense danger, or the way your skin tingles when you experience something deeply moving, all of these responses prove that emotions have a direct effect on the body. If someone is strongly focused on you, whether in desire or deep thought, their emotional energy could be influencing you in ways you do not consciously recognize, but your body does. This is especially true for people with strong bonds. Many have reported feeling sudden warmth when thinking of a loved one, only to receive a call or message from them moments later. Others have mentioned experiencing a sudden physical reaction, like goosebumps, or an unexplained sense of peace, just before hearing unexpected news about someone they care for. The body often senses things before the mind does. When an unexplained feeling arises, and a particular person instantly comes to mind, it is worth considering that it may not be random. It could be a subtle physical sign that their emotions and thoughts are reaching you in ways that go beyond normal understanding, but remain absolutely real. You are going about your day, fully engaged in your routine, when suddenly their voice echoes in your mind. It is not just a vague recollection or a fleeting thought. It is as if they are right there speaking to you. You can hear their exact tone, the rhythm of their speech, and even the emotions behind their words. Sometimes it happens when you are making a choice and their voice offers advice as if they are guiding you. Other times it comes as a phrase they often used, a joke they would make, or even a simple call of your name, as if they had just spoken it out loud. This experience is not just nostalgia, it is a reflection of a deep psychological and emotional imprint. When two people share a meaningful bond, their voices become ingrained in each other's subconscious minds. The brain, being a powerful pattern recognizer, recalls voices with amazing accuracy, often replaying them during moments of emotional significance. If someone is thinking about you intensely, your subconscious mind may pick up on that energy, triggering the sound of their voice in your thoughts. It is a way of keeping a connection even in silence. Psychologists call this auditory memory recall, a process where the mind retrieves stored sounds and replays them as clearly as if they were happening in real time. But what makes this phenomenon interesting is that it often happens at just the right moment, reinforcing the idea that emotional connections exist even beyond words and physical presence. In moments of deep reflection or emotion, if their voice echoes in your mind when you're feeling lonely, uncertain, or even joyful, it might be because they are thinking of you with the same intensity at that moment. The emotional energy attached to those memories makes them surface, especially when a subconscious connection is at work. Many people have shared experiences of hearing the voice of someone they haven't spoken to in a long time, only to receive a message or call from them soon after. Others have described hearing their name called out loud, turning around, and realizing no one is there. These moments are often dismissed as tricks of the mind, but they could actually be subtle signs of an ongoing connection, one that is felt not just in thought, but in the way the mind processes sound and memory. When their voice comes to you unexpectedly, it is worth considering that they might be thinking of you just as strongly. You might be scrolling through your phone, flipping through television channels, or walking through a crowd when, without intending to, you notice someone who reminds you of them. It could be a stranger with a similar stance, a hairstyle that looks familiar, or a way of laughing that feels oddly recognizable. For a brief moment, your mind tricks you into believing it might actually be them, only to realize a second later that it isn't. Then, in the days that follow, you keep encountering small reminders, objects they loved, places you visited together, or even a scent that immediately pulls you back to a shared memory. These signs seem to appear at random, yet they feel undeniably connected. This is not just mere coincidence, it is a sign of the subconscious at work. The human brain is wired to recognize patterns, and when someone has been important in your life, their presence becomes embedded in your mental framework. Your mind remains tuned to them, constantly scanning your surroundings for anything that resembles their essence. But what's even more fascinating is that these reminders tend to show up more often when that person is also thinking about you. Psychologists have explored this phenomenon in relation to the brain's reticular activating system, or RAS, which filters information based on emotional relevance. When someone has been occupying your thoughts, or when they are thinking about you, the RAS becomes more sensitive to cues connected to them. This is why their favorite song might suddenly start playing at an unexpected moment, why you keep spotting their name in random places, or why you frequently come across people who bear a resemblance to them. It's almost as if your mind is subtly attuned to their energy, picking up on reminders that you might have otherwise overlooked. Beyond psychology, some believe this is a form of synchronicity, where external events reflect internal emotions. It's not just your mind recalling them, it's a deeper connection that still exists between you. If these signs continue to appear over and over again, it suggests that their presence is not simply a thing of the past, but an active force in your life. Perhaps they are thinking of you just as deeply in ways neither of you fully understand. Your thoughts seem to be reaching for each other, forming an invisible thread that continues to pull you back together. You wake up in the morning, going about your usual routine, when suddenly, without any warning, their name pops into your mind. There is no clear reason, no recent conversation, no visible reminder in your surroundings, yet they appear in your thoughts as vividly as if you had just spoken to them. You try to brush it off, but the thought lingers, surfacing throughout the day at unexpected moments. It is not just a fleeting idea, it is persistent, accompanied by a strong emotion, whether it is warmth, nostalgia, or even an unexplainable longing. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, they reach out to you, or you hear something about them from another person. Experiences like this are far too precise to be disregarded. They suggest that thoughts are not isolated. They carry energy. When two people share a strong bond, their thoughts can align in ways that challenge logical explanation. When you find yourself unable to stop thinking about someone for no apparent reason, it is often because they are thinking of you as well. Their focus on you may be so intense that it stirs something in your subconscious, making you aware of their presence, even from a distance. Neuroscientists have studied the intricate ways in which thoughts, emotions, and memories are connected. The brain functions as a complex web of associations, constantly processing information, even when we are not consciously aware of it. When someone holds importance in your life, whether romantically, emotionally, or spiritually, your mind remains attuned to them, even in their absence. If they are thinking of you with intensity, their thoughts may send subtle signals that your subconscious picks up, causing them to resurface in your mind unexpectedly. This explains why many people experience moments that feel almost telepathic, thinking of someone and then receiving a message or a call from them shortly after. It isn't just a matter of coincidence. It is a reflection of the emotional and mental link that exists between two individuals. The stronger the emotions, the more pronounced the connection becomes. This leads to moments where you find yourself thinking about them at the precise time they are thinking about you. Some describe this as energetic resonance, the belief that thoughts and emotions generate a frequency that can be sensed by those with whom we share a deep connection. This could explain why certain people seem to appear in your thoughts without reason, yet their presence feels significant. If this happens over and over again, especially with the same person, it's worth paying attention to. It is an indication that your connection with them is still active, functioning at a level beyond conscious awareness. The next time someone unexpectedly enters your mind and refuses to leave, do not dismiss it as a random occurrence. It could be an unspoken message, a silent conversation between minds that remain connected. It is a sign that somewhere in their own space they are thinking of you too, reaching out in ways that words cannot capture, but that the mind, in its quiet and mysterious way, still recognizes.